First alert at 5, a severe thunderstorm watch in effect across the entire metro right now, and things could soon get worse.
You're looking at live pictures from our crews monitoring the conditions. This storm system could be life-threatening with the ability to produce large hail and tornadoes.
Now our crews are stationed in areas where the impact of this storm could be the worst. Our entire First Alert weather team tracking every development.
So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bryan Busby.
You saw at the beginning with Eli Rosenberg showing you evidence that is gusty even without the thunderstorms overhead, and adding some other ingredients, that's where we start to see the thunderstorms pop up. Here it is now as we zoom in. This is now the latest severe thunderstorm warning, staying in effect until 5:15 because it's still racing off to the east and northeast at about 55 miles an hour. 21,000 people impacted by the severe thunderstorm warning for the next 15 minutes or so. Does include east and northern portions of Bates, southeastern portions of Cass going into Johnson County, and also Henry County. Storm track on it for you. Clinton, Missouri by 5:11 right before the warning is allowed to expire. Warrensburg at 5:28 as well for later on tonight. So this is the first area that we have to worry about. Farther to the north is not looking at least stormy quite yet, but give it some time. Some more fresh development out of the western portion of Johnson County, Kansas. That's riding up right now. No warnings that are coming through at that. But as we're looking between Linwood and Olathe down toward Edgerton, there's that batch of showers and thunderstorms to run to rainfall that will probably impact the evening commute. Now, we said we have all four of our meteorologists here. Not quite true. One's out in the field. That's meteorologist Nick Bender, who's down in that cell very close to Butler. Nick, go.
Brian, we're in Butler, Missouri. At 4:40, we had a severe thunderstorm roll right across the area with some very strong wind gusts and a lot of lightning and driving wind. We were able to get this video for you. Again, this was approximately at 4:40, so 20 minutes ago, as this severe thunderstorm rolled through with measured wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Thankfully, there was no significant wind damage here. We're just off the interstate, if you're familiar with Butler, near the Walmart and the Conoco and the Days Inn. There was some nuisance wind damage, if you will, trash cans that were blown around and whatnot with those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And as you've mentioned, this could just be one of several rounds of thunderstorms for later this evening, because just because the sun sets doesn't mean that that severe threat will diminish overnight, and I'm sure you'll be detailing that coming up here in just a few minutes. That's live. That's what we got right now here in Butler, Missouri. Brian, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks for the contribution there, and Nick's absolutely right. That low-level jet could actually strengthen and make these thunderstorms go through with wave after wave.
Yeah, watching out for that. All of our 44 counties under that risk of severe weather, but just as we were highlighting this morning and now pinpointing where we have the red, that's where we have the elevated risk as we're moving towards later tonight. That timeline, Brian, I would say until what, 10 o'clock tonight? Yep. As we're moving towards later this evening. And again, those specific threats we'll be watching out for: Garnett, areas of Mound City near Paola, Harrisonville down through Butler. And let me show you again, look at how many crews we have in the field right now to keep you safe. And in terms of coverage across the area, we'll be watching for two significant threats for our area: golf ball sized hail and that tornadic threat. Brian, you've got the timeline here.
Yeah, it still looks like we're going to see that between 3 and 10 tonight. And one of our other team members who helps us, especially with this, 7 to 10s, we're looking for the possibility of those tornadoes. Best eye in the sky. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9. Where's your current location? You're going at 120 plus.
Yeah, you bet right now. I actually broke it into a hover here, Brian, to give you a shot of that cell that Nick was around near Butler. We're not too far from Lewisburg, Kansas right now, pretty close to the state line. And that is a look at some of the cloud cover we see and some breaks in the clouds as well. One thing we have noticed, we'll go ahead and zoom in on this pond. Boy, the wind now really howling from the south. And you can see it on the pond there, the streaks across the pond indicating that that wind is really blowing. So a lot of humidity, a lot of wind here. And we're going to make a right turn and head on over to that new cell developing in Johnson County. Report back to you in a little bit. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. So here's the next batch that we're developing, just so that everybody can understand what we were talking about. Farther to the east and northeast, there's that severe thunderstorm warning that stays in effect until 5:15. But our area of next concern, the next wave that will be moving through, is now taking shape between Chanute, Independence, Kansas, and out to the south and west, not too far away from Wichita. That's where we have our KMBC storm tracker, Tad Schnockenberg, and his crew, which is outside of the Wichita area. He'll continue to watch this development that's going on. If anything breaks, if we have warnings, certainly we'll get back to this side of the studio. Haley Harrison is one of our other chasers, as Aaron outlined. She's live with a report as well. Haley, what's going on?
Yeah, and Brian, we're set up off of a 2 highway in Freeman, Missouri, which is just a couple of miles west of Harrisonville for our viewers who are familiar with the Cass County area. And this is a really small RV park. There are really just a few stalls for folks to stay in, but there is no shelter here. And so the folks here are going to have to rely on friends and family, even businesses in town, if they want to go somewhere when the weather gets bad tonight. Now, we met Chelsea. She is one of those folks who's staying here. She is 6 months pregnant and scared to spend the night in their camper. Last night, she tells me, was a pretty sleepless night because of the severe weather that rolled through.
You wake up with the camper shaking if it's real windy normally, and you can hear the rain hitting it pretty good. It's loud. 10, like a 10 roof.
And we just saw her leaving to go to a friend's house. That's where she's going to spend the night tonight. She says her friends and family have been calling, worried about her and her baby tonight. She says she is looking forward to her son Dalton arriving in 3 months. Live in Freeman, Haley Harrison, KMBC 9 News.
Haley, we certainly see the very gusty winds that are out there feeling on these thunderstorms. Next complex, even in the last 5 minutes or so, looking a little more impressive down to the south and west of us. And that's what we're going to continue to monitor over the next few minutes or so. And don't forget, severe thunderstorm warning still out for Base and going toward Johnson County and Henry counties. That one stays in effect until 5:15. Kelly.
Now, we're also tracking the conditions ahead of tonight's Royals game. These are live pictures from Kauffman Stadium. Also, we're going to tell you what you need to know if you are headed out to the game tonight or actually any time this season when it comes to severe weather. That's coming up in just minutes.
Also making headlines tonight, a jury has convicted